I hope you are having super duper fun. I'm having some super duper fun. And we're gonna be... I was supposed to stream earlier, but you know me. That didn't happen. I ended up working on some stuff instead for other things. See this? I don't know why I changed the linting step. It's gonna break anyway. Yeah, actions for... Oh, I added that. That's fine. I'm okay with this being a first draft. I don't think... Ooh, that's it. I think I want to clean this up. Hi, we're doing a live PR review. If you would like to review this PR, I will drop it in Discord, in the code review channels. Oh, it's already there. That's the last one in there. So it is in the Discord channel. So I'm reviewing my own PR because it's been a week. So I can clean this up and move on to databases. Because that's what we need to do. I did want to remove the build step because there's no build. I don't need this. I can kill this. Because there are no tests. Like, we don't need... There are no... You can't even see this. Here, let's do this. And then I'll take it off of split view so that you can actually see it without my head. Or I can just get rid of my head. But, yeah. Right here. Remove, because there are no tests, yeah. O'Reilly Web Services. Online learning course. It should be O'Reilly. I believe it's capital R. And it's, I believe it's E. No, yeah, see, it's E before I, so gotta spell it right. And what do they call them? Oh, you can watch it on your big screen. Submit an RFP. Oh, I don't have that. I just emailed the guy directly. And then we want this to say, go for web development in 3 weeks. Okay. Those need to be there, right? We gotta correct that. If you're just joining, the code to look at, you can do code, or it's the PRs in the PR review channel on... Oh yeah, we don't need an ad yet. Snooze ads. We'll do an ad after we've done this. We should also remove this. Remove because there's no tests. No good English. It's in Discord. Code review channel in Discord. That's what I was trying to say. I'm gonna host these on a Raspberry Pi instead. Oh, then here. Yeah, remove from the README. Because we don't need that in the README. Yeah, we've got most of this stuff ready to go. Remove ideas and link repo. That repo is actually this one. So we can add that there. So that works out. I can add my add the database repos here. I know I have additional a Go mod. Oh, this should be 120. That's fine. That's fine. This is not how you spell exercise. Exercise. Quizzes. Does quiz have two Z's in it? Quizzes, I do think, has two Z's in it. Okay. This is just a draft, but that's fine. Okay. Let's add standard library link. Should I just do docs? And then, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have an example for that yet, but I don't need the example for that yet. I want to remove. I think I do. Because I don't test them, so it's fine. We're gonna add the complex test for that when we do mocks on the next thing, so it's fine. We have tests here. Okay. I do status okay. These codes that I use delete and get and all that, I usually do it like this. But I'm considering changing those out for the constants. So. Oh, good. Would you just comment on it so I can go update it? Thank you. Get rid of this. Nobody wants this. I want this to take up the whole screen. I don't want this. Oh, there's that button. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Where's my first comment? Okay. I'm really tired. This is the after lunch sleep time. so really tired. Ad starts in 1 minute and 30 seconds, so enjoy that. Warning. Enjoy that warning. I'll still be here. We are gonna SQL. How come people don't do databases in Go without SQL C? That's my question. Yes, we will be doing SQL C. Because I wanted to talk about it in the course. So I will have to figure out how to... I have never used SQL C, so I'm going to have to figure out SQL C and how to use it and stuff like that. And how to make a good example of using it. Because I'm not using it in the test service that I'm using to generate all my examples, so I may have to audit that. Because people like their ORMs. I will say SQL C is, in my opinion, not an ORM, but it is because you have to know SQL to use SQL C, so it's not an ORM. It doesn't get you out of that, but Go for web development in 3 weeks. What? Does it think it's gonna just live update things right here for me? Because that's not happening. No. I'm not having you restart my computer in the middle of me writing this. Oh, people who don't use SQL C love their ORMs. That was your comment? Yes. It came up today at work. Somebody's like, oh, look at this cool tool. And then everyone's like, of course, I've already seen that tool. And we decided not to use it. I'm like, get over yourself. And then somebody brought up Gorm, and I'm like, don't use Gorm. Gorm is an ORM, and ORMs are cheating. And somebody brought up Django and ORMs, and then I'm like, that's not the same. No, I don't need to indicate requested changes. I do what I want. Anyway, GOM is an ORM, and I do not support ORMs. But yeah, so I'll have to figure out SQL C, and that's definitely part of that. Don't use Gorm. Hi, Todd. That was literally in my opinion. Don't use Gorm. ORMs are of the devil. Okay, that's done. That's done. Oh yeah, we don't need either of these because we're going to use a hosted database. Yes, but why use an ORM for fast prototyping when you could use SQL C? It's the same thing. I guess anytime you use a real database, I feel like you need to have control over that database. Barrera. SQL Alchemy in Python? I am against ORMs. I am not against people who use ORMs. I just really like using SQL. I also think that they are of much more use in Python than Go. It has to do with the level of abstraction that happens there. So, and I think ORMs, maybe I'm just against ORMs with Go, because so many people use SCORM. Because, like, if you were using... Oh, what's the word? I was supposed to add a bleep to my thing, but I didn't add a bleep. Because JavaScript can't be typed. It can only be said. I think, like, if you're using Node, it might make sense. I don't know. Clearly, people use Spring for Java all the time. So there is something to be said for... is a live production service used to... that implements the game. 20 questions. So yeah, I mean, I do not like ORMs. Personal opinion. Code from this course, from this service. Hibernate is also a Java thing, like Spring. How come it didn't... Oh yeah, it has weird, like, rules about when and decides to say that Java is a bad word or not. I don't know anything about Java besides ORMs. I mean, besides Spring. Spring's the only one, because I've interviewed a lot of Spring devs. SQL delights like SQL C? Well, that's good. Oh, you got caught by the moderator for saying Java. Java is definitely a banned word. So is all Java-related words, like JavaScript. 6 messages were deleted by the moderator? Uh-oh. Sorry, Savage Coder. I think, Todd... I don't think it moderates subscribers. Was that it? And so because you subscribe, it doesn't moderate you? I think that was it. So I guess you can only like Java if you subscribe. That's also a little ridiculous. But whatever. Just so you know, this is something I totally stole from Tej. He's another web developer. He has VS Code. He has it moderated on the chat, and he also bleeps it out every time he says it. I just don't have a bleeper sound. I have, like, an explosion sound. So every time I say it, I should just explode, right? Every time I say No, where did I put that stuff? Yeah, I know, because this PR's not done. It's just there. Are they still talking about SQL C at work, or are they trying to deploy stuff? Oh, they're trying to deploy stuff. No. Code. Are you in setup the stuff where I said, hey, don't forget to add this to the database stuff? Is it gang game? Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's what I needed. Have fun at the meeting, Todd. Thank you for coming and making us feel better about our Java. PGX is used. I've used PGX. It's not bad. I prefer SQLX. Have fun, Savage Coder. We don't have SQL C. I'll add SQL C. Because we gotta love SQL C. SQL C is fantastic. SQL C. And I've never used it. I say it's fantastic, but I've never used it, so... You know. This doesn't have auto formatter on. There we go. I am not using the Datadog SQL mock, so Echo is a massive headache. Somebody recommended it, so I threw it up here. I'm not saying I'm gonna use it. I'm using Chi. A lot of people have come back and recommended Fiber. A lot of people have come back and recommended Fiber. Because it uses fast HTTP. So that's definitely on the list. No, I have not seen his talk on WebAssembly and how to write platform agnostic plugins. It sounds like a good talk. I do want here a link to the net HTTP stuff. Language agnostic plugin seems weird though, but I guess that's what Flutter is, right? Yeah, the goal of this, the audience tends to be people who come from other languages. So I just want to give them a bunch of web frameworks. One, so that they don't say, oh, I missed this from another language, because a lot of these web frameworks were like written by people coming from other languages. So we might as well give them that. And oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. That way they can choose, right? I'm not going to say, hey, this is the best. I'm going to say, here are your options. Why don't you, like, evaluate them and pick what one you want to use for these examples? And then if you need to, like, reference this list later, it's going to be on GitHub forever, so. Because that's, yeah, like... Yeah, I don't want to focus too much. I mean, at work, we only use a standard library. We're not using any third-party stuff, but a lot of people use third-party stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it. And people need to know that there's a lot of stuff already out there. Because duplicating other people's work is stupid. But yeah, a lot of people like that. Okay. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that was my only goal, was to introduce people to, like, popular web frameworks that are already out there. Because, yeah, I feel like people coming from other languages to Go always reach for the web frameworks first. Right? Because who does vanilla Java servers? No, you always pick a tool. And who does vanilla Ruby servers? And I haven't ever done Python that wasn't Django, so. There we go. This looks a lot better. Yeah. Oh, my commit's not signed? Dang it. I think I can commit. That should do it. The signing thing was just me messing stuff out. It is signed. There's only one commit. Oh, are there two commits? Oh. That means I need to... Should I squash them, or should I reword them? That's a good question. I think I know the last one is reworded. Actually, let's just do this. We'll just squash it. Because I don't need more than one. Thought I did, I don't. Exercises, coordinate with day 1 of the 3-day course. That works. Now there's only one. And it is signed off, so take that. What? No, they are all signed. They're signed. I want to just merge it. So just let me merge it. It will merge automatically when requirements are met. The requirements will never be met, so... Clearly, I need to fix my security. Or not the security, the settings. Because this, first of all, that's fine. Where's the rules? Yeah. Well, then why don't you let me... No, branches. I don't have any branch protections. So if I don't have any branch protection rules, why do I have this at all? Yeah, there we go. Oh, and whatever this branch is. Oh, and now I have to check it on my phone. No. It was 78. Was Oh, it worked that time. Go to our pull request. Now can I just stink and merge it? Okay, I just want to merge the pull request. Yeah. So now I can do database stuff. Not that hard. Not that hard. And we'll get rid of this. Nope. Mariah. Database. Stuff. Yeah, so the first one is connect to a hosted DB, add client and interface. This will be SQL C. No. And then we'll have, at some point, there should be a live coding. And that should have SQL C. This only needs the standard library, really. So. Where's that? I'm really tired. I'm like ready for a nap. It happens every time after lunch. That's why lunch happens, is to remind you to take your naps. And if lunch didn't happen, I didn't. No, that was what we're. So yes. Cool. This should be pretty easy. I have all the code for this. Right now I am using Docker though for my database. instead of hosted Postgres. Sorry, you're right, that's not. Oh, I wanted P. I always get confused between P and O. There we go. And so this one would be just a main.go. I also need a database readme. Day 2 databases and your Go app. And this section of the course contains examples and exercises for building, for connecting, and effectively, let's just for effectively integrating databases to your web app. The following are examples of finished exercises for day dose of the O'Reilly Media Online Learning course. They can be completed by following along with the instruction or independently. Dependently. But it's no fun to do it by yourself. No fun to do it by yourself. Coding should be done with your friends. That is why I only do it on Twitch. I only ever do it on the Twitch. Twitch coding. Exercise 1 is connect to a hosted database with dummy data. We're just going to call this connect to a provided. We'll call it live database. I will probably still spin it up with Postgres. I don't know. I thought about using Cockroach as a backend. That way I don't have to run a database on my Raspberry Pi that I'm going to use for hosting the course. Oh, look, my watch is dying. 2 seconds. I'm going to go put this on the charger behind me. But since I just bought a massive SD card for my Raspberry Pi, also power supply, I don't think it'll be a problem to host it on there. So if I'm going to host it on there, I'll just have dummy data that I'll generate. And then it'll just have the pre-staged data, so it'll be fine. And that data can, basically, if somebody wipes the database, they won't, I'll just have a backup data file that I can restore and rerun. So it shouldn't be a problem at all. Also, I'll give them a user that has like read-only or something stupid. And then when they build their apps, they can get write permissions. Also, if they delete it, I just restart the database. So, the end. It, like, I'm not concerned. If they came to if they paid money to learn from me on an O'Reilly course, and all they want to do is nuke my database, I'll just kick them and start over. Exercise 1. Use the appropriate what do you call them? Database driver. And module, right, which is a library module, to connect to the provided Postgres database. The user and the username and password are provided on the slide. And then I'll just have like a note that'll say, note, if you are completing this independently, you can run Postgres locally in a Docker container using the included I only have a command for it because I don't think using the following command. There we go. That way, they have to be on the course in order to access my database, and I can rotate the username and password after each course. That's not a problem. So yeah, we just use this Docker command, which... Oh, that's not what I wanted. See, I've just been literally running the Postgres container, like the straight up one, and it's been working just fine. Like, oh, and I should make sure and they need to do a Docker pull Postgres latest. Isn't it at latest? Docker Hub Postgres? Again, this is not for a beginner audience, so even though I'm not requiring anybody have Docker, I expect you, yeah, to know how to use it if you want to be self-driven. Once you have connected, run a to see what tables. Actually, that's kind of hard to do. To select run a query based on the we should have I don't have a schema documentation yet, but I will. To do include an ERD or other schema docs. Like, I have the SQL in over here. No, not here. Get over yourself. So, right here. I just have, because I'm not using SQL C, like any noob would do. I just have a ton of SQL just hanging out right here. So clearly I have a schema and they can use it. And this is basically what I'm going to be using for my Postgres instance. I'll just have to create users and whatever garbage. And obviously change the main username and password. Because I can change it to be whatever I want. So. Right? I'm not too far off the mark here. Essentially, I'm describing what I think would be a good course for people who've never written a web app in Go, but may have written it somewhere else. But I tend to get stuck in a trap of thinking of like the entry level early career developer that's new to everything, and that's not who I'm building this course for. And so yeah. Oh, I don't wanna quit iTerm. I wanted to go over here. Cool. Exercise 2. Oh, this should have that. Exercise 2. Okay. Also, if you have any questions, this is I can't believe they actually use the term SQL for suckers. Oh gosh. That is a little crass. This is literally my sense of humor right here. If you want to know everything about Mariah, I guess I've interacted with a lot of people who are not SQL fans, and so that's kind of why I wrote SQL for Suckers. Not to mean that people who use SQL are suckers. I should have come up with a better name before I sent them that. But it is only 30 minutes, so. Nuxes, oh, I already wrote that. These, do you auth tokens. These are my empty slides because it's a little bit easier to build the slides once you have exercises, in my opinion. Where's the exercise? Oh, I just don't have... I don't have the exercises in here. Oh, that's why. That makes sense. Oh, it break for 15 minutes. It should be somewhere. Exercise. Wrap your database connection. That should be over here. After we talk about database drivers connecting to a database, yeah. Exercise. Connect to a database. Right? That should be it. Shouldn't be that hard. Okay. Okay, sorry. That's not what I was intending to do. Exercise 2. Oh no, this should be the live coding. This is not live demo. And this should be, like, the whole point of this live demo would be using tools database. I'm gonna recording here. Recording to come. I'm sure I'll do it on Twitch at some point. Tools like Goose and SQL-C can be used to easily abstract database management into your software stack. The following is an example of a is the resulting script. Tooling code from the live demo. And so this would be somewhere here. It would be like databases, demo, main.go or something stupid. And this should be this. I need to make that file. I need to make a directory. What did I delete? I don't want to delete that. Databases. Is it database or databases? It's database. Demo. This is add build database tooling. And then exercise 3. Mock database functions into the tests from Mock database functions. Use your new database interface. Mock the database functions. I keep doing that. Can't spell. From last week. And that is test from last week. It's RESTful Go EX3 Oh, it's exercise 4 tests. I was really close. Okay, so let's try our SQL C stuff. The other thing, what the heck is this? Oh. It's this, by the way. This is not the only way to do it, this is just how I do it. The end. We'll get it. Connections. Postgres, but not all. Quirks. Okay, so that's done. That's a rough. I'll have to edit those instructions once we get farther. SQL C. I'm gonna in this demo also create a SQL function. I might just use this. Essentially, oh look, who did this? Yeah. Somebody should be very careful when they write things. I know. I've used Goose in the past for migrations, and it's very nice. And so usually what I do when I do that is I do something like O1 user question game creation .sql, right? Because this is everything we need to create the game. We paste that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. And now we have valid SQL, kind of. This stupid Neo format should format SQL, right? Vim Neo format. Yeah. Yeah, and I have it. Yeah, and I have it using plugs, so they should get over themselves. And I have it, so it should do SQL. Like, it says it right here. SQL. So I should be able to do Neo format SQL. Not an editor command? Oh no. You got me going now. Neo format. Where are you? Oh, it's not in this one because it's a NeoVim plugin. Oh, that's probably why. Oh, that's what edit n does? Edit, how about if I do nvim? No. No, where is it? It's in config. Where is my init vim? Do I not? Edit in. Oh, then I don't. What the heck? Edit V. So I was right. Is there not a NeoVim here? I mean, I don't see it. A Neo format using plug. Where's the Vim plug stuff? I usually try to keep these in alphabetical order, so. But I have all of this there? Oh, of course. Dang it. Now I have to quit everything. NVM database demo SQL. So now I do plug status. Neo format's okay. Plug install. Already installed. Update. Oh, good. I thought Rainbow CSV, Rainbow CSV is not fabricated. So now if I do Neo format, ha! It worked. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was to format my SQL. Okay. I don't know. I probably will want to script this at some point. I mean, yes, this is what we all use. Oh, let's just do this. brew install goose is new. Thank you. So goose up, yeah, goose down, goose whatever. Oh, and I need to add this to my SQL file. So everything I have so far. Oh. So this would be goose up. Goose, oh, it's plus dash dash, right? That first. Stop. What is just, oh, it's dash dash first. Okay. Dash dash base plus goose up. Is it capital? Oh, it is. Okay. And so now I need to have a goose down. No. Goose down. I don't have any indexes created. I'm not too worried about that at this point, so we should be fine. Goose statements, I've done those before. I don't think I'm gonna need it for this. Embedded migrations? Oh, that's new. That's actually really cool. I usually oh, this is also really nice to do it that way. I typically have always done it. It looks like the embedded migrations is the idea of doing it. It's the ideal way of doing it now, because this is definitely new documentation since last time I did it. I like this idea of doing functions because personally, I tend to do that when I'm doing like throwaway stuff. So that makes me think about using Goose more for throwaway stuff. Oh, that wasn't supposed to go in code review. So, the end. Ads are starting in 2 minutes. And probably 3 minutes because it's like ads start and then ads don't actually start for another 30 seconds. You can also do stuff like this. That's really nice. This is really nice. Am I the only one that didn't know you could do Goose migrations in a Go file instead of in a SQL file? Oh, and they wanted you to have them in a migrations directory. So let's do that. So we can do make dir. Oh, that's hilarious. Databases, demo, and then we'll have a migrations. I really like that they added that as embedded. I really like the fact that they have embedded migrations. That's super cool. Okay, so now we'll take this. And it is from here, so. And they're all SQL files, and they run numerically as well. Yeah, and it just runs migrations. Isn't that so, like, it's running the migrations directory. That's so nice. I wonder, hopefully, if we do it correctly, it can use the same SQL that I used for Goose, because that's ideal. Queries and schema. Interesting. Oh, you can use queries. I don't... Nice. So the schema... I obviously would have... this is nice. So we would have it version 2. Yeah, this is literally gonna do all of the work that I did last week. Literally everything I did last week. SQL. Postgres. Engines, like... So the package out should be demo, right? Oh, demo. So they have tutorial and tutorial. So tutorial SQLC.dev. And they have it right here and it goes into tutorial. Nice. So no, it doesn't, it's not package demo. I would like to call it package. Should we call it package database? Out database. We want the package name to be database and we want the directory to be database. I think that's what that's reading. The queries we don't have, but the schema we do have in migrations dot 001. What did we call that? Game create.sql. I don't need that open anymore. Okay, so now we have this. Okay, are you done being user ambiguously defined? Yeah, I have the schema. So now what I don't have is this stuff. I mean, I do have it. And I do SQLC generate? Okay. So I'm not going to SQLC generate the thing. Let's just try it, right? SQLC generate. It does too. Oh, it does not. It's because I need to be in databases demo. Now try it. What? Oh my goodness. This should be in databases. SQLC YAML should be in database demo. SQL C. It does too. Oh, I never moved it. Now try it. You're right. Query does not exist. Oh, because you're right. It shouldn't. So I can just comment that out. Let's just get rid of this. Yeah, well, does it have to have queries? I guess it has to have queries. See, and that's why I don't use SQL C, because it does have to have queries. And I don't want it to have queries. Again, I do think SQL C will work for 95% of the stuff that people have to do. Problem is, we can, with Goose, for migrations, we can have modifying the database schema. Yeah, we use Goose. What about Goose? Yeah, we use Goose. Oh, it does. It supports that. So no, show me how you do Goose. Yes, yes, I understand. But right now I'm giving you one file. I bet I could do all the files just like I did with the other one. See, right? Instead of doing this, if it really supports Goose, then I should be able to do this. Right? Okay, so now I need to figure out some queries. We're gonna make a directory. And we're only gonna do queries. That's how you spell queries, right? Let's just do the user ones, right? The ones that we have that are user queries. It should be exactly like this, right? And this was like basically as you can tell, I just kind of wrote these myself because I don't care. I like that. Because I'm weird. Return one, return many execs. So, because return one is query row as opposed to query rows. So, you know, so we'll have, sorry, name, I'm gonna copy and paste this example so I get the format. Ooh, nice. Just so I can get the format right. Okay, so I'm not going to use those ones. I'm just copying it so I don't have to keep going back and forth. So the name is get user. I want to return one user. I want to select all from users where username ID equals 1. This $1 is how you do Postgres, as opposed to if you're doing MySQL or MSQL and you do a question mark. The next one, we're doing an upsert user. Is create, no, name, upsert user. We don't need it to return anything, so it's an exec. This is typically how I format them. I don't know if I need to do all of them. Name, delete user. This is also an exec. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I'm gonna do, instead of queries, it'll be queries user.sql. SQL C. Yes, it does. It says it supports Goose, so I don't know what this... What if I just did this? Yes, it does. Game create. That's the thing. Was it user game create? Oh, it's just game create. Invalid query type exec. Oh yeah, I needed to edit that. Exec is that. Exec is that. So now I have a database. db.go. That's disgusting. Oh, this is the interface. Oh, that's disgusting. I can see what people like it. Oh, camera froze. I can see why people like it. That's... Because, like, this is nice and you don't have to create all of that, which I do, usually. And I have done. But questions shouldn't be a string. Questions should be type question. Guesses should be type guesses. And users should be... Guesses should be of type guess. Like, if you look at what I did... in game, it looks basically identical. No. Here. Except for... see, they have... host, game ID. The one thing I have that they don't have is I'm calculating a question count. That's something I calculate at this package level because I like to inject logic into my functions. And then questions and guess. They're using int32s. I'm using int64. What I do like though, this is nice, that they're using SQL null time and SQL null bool. Which I'm gonna use. But that's about it. I don't feel bad about not using SQL C. What? Oh, it's SQL null time. So again, like, I also get custom errors, which they're obviously not doing. They keep their comments in there. That's super weird. It's interesting, very interesting that they keep that comment in there. Also that they use it on queries. So here, they have this queries object which has the DBX interface in it, which is an extra... I have something very similar. I have a connection interface which client satisfies as opposed to something... The DBX, I think, is something that DB, like the database itself, satisfies, which is really weird to me. DBTX. They have it inside of queries. That's a little weird. Essentially, you then would use dbtx to mock out your stuff. The reason I don't like that is because then you would have to create a new dbtx struct for every one of your things. Also, that means that somewhere whatever database object we're using, it basically allows them to use any kind of use DB versus use various databases types based on how I set up my database. So that basically allows me to use PGX versus DBX versus just a regular DB. So I mean, I kind of get it. So now I would go to my main.go. I have this database. I would say queries equals new DB equals database dot new DB, and then I can do queries dot get user. Is that what it's called? Yeah, get user. And I have to give it a context and a username. Of course I don't have a context. And then Pete is the default username I've been using so far. So that will cannot use DB as type of variable SQLX. Yes, I can. Yeah. SQLX is just a wrapper on it. There is also no benefit to using SQLX in this case. That's also... And there is also, if I remember correctly, I do have undeclared SQL. Because SQL doesn't have a connect. It's open, I believe. Undeclared context, because this should be context.background. This will not work because I don't have the database set up. And now I can just pass in that database. Database queries has no method get users. You're right, it doesn't. It only has the method get user. That would return a user and an error. Which is fine. That's a really, really easy live demo to do. The ad starts in 20 seconds, probably about a minute. It's a really easy demo to do because I literally did it in what, like 20 minutes, this whole thing. I think I do have some notes that I'd like. Just first impressions. Connecting to database questions. Open source tools. And then, no. Open source tools, yeah. SQL C. We already talked about database drivers. No, building database open source tools. Okay, I want to duplicate this slide and I want to duplicate this slide. So we're gonna do SQLX. We should do Goose as well, correct? Because we did Yeah. SQL C. And then Goose. Oh, wow. That's what happens when you do new slide. That's kind of freaky. And then this one is Goose. So these are just my initial thoughts. First thing first, this is a good tool for adding contexts to your queries. It allows for extra functions. I can't spell functions. Like must exec. Which are also have their drawbacks. Allows you to leverage struct tags. Lord of Janitors. Am I pulling connections or opening one for each request? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure the answer is pooling connections. This is a very lightweight web app, so I don't really care that much. SQLX does take care of that. That's a pooling database. I was thinking, I should know what that word actually means. Software engineering. Connectable is a cache of database connections maintained so that the connections are reused for future requests. I'm okay. I am definitely pooling connections. 100%. That's what I'm doing. That's typically how I do it. That's a really good thing to include right here. Connection pooling versus one per request. See? Do you have any recommendations on upsides or downsides to that? When parsing database objects? Like, that's what I like about it. SQL C removes work of configuring boilerplate. Integrates, it says it integrates with migration tooling. Allows for quick database integration. Kev Burns Jr. Database-SQL pulls connections by default. Yes. That's why when I looked it up, I said that's what I always do. But now I know how to answer Lord of Janitors, which is yes. By default, I am. Use SQL as a first-class language, which is what all data people want you to do. Language. Can't spell. Goose. So this is not literally what I'm going to present, but these are just my initial thoughts. Goose allows for quick database schema migrations. Uses integrates with Go functions. I can't spell functions. Functions or embedded SQL files. embedded SQL files. It is easy to deploy and roll back schema migrations. It is really easy to use locally on a local database or in development. Okay, those are my database things. Uh-oh, what did I change? No. Yes. Okay. I didn't want to actually change any of those. Oh, actually. Oh, I do still want to be in anyway. Git status. Okay, we've added database. We've edited the README. You build database tooling. Ooh, this is a good one. And I think I want to be able to let them use SQL-C. I also want to show them an example of not using SQL-C code, because I personally like the way I'm doing it without SQL-C better. But SQL-C will allow you to mock the database. So if you like tooling over writing code, which some people do, and it's not tooling. Made it sound really upsetting. If you are good at leveraging tooling versus needing... I need to write it out to think through the process. Like, that literally, it's a design thing for me. I do not like the way SQL-C generates things. It looks too abstracted. But it's super beneficial, like, for speed. So if you're optimizing for speed, definitely, like, I totally understand. I don't ever optimize for speed. That's probably my problem. Build database tooling. So in this one, we're going to build a client and interface around your database connection. That's for the mocking that they can use SQL-C. What are the questions? I like having questions. What are the differences between manually creating a I call them database objects, versus generating... Let me tell you, in theory, I'm sure SQL-C could have done it, but I have done like JSON B queries in Go apps, and I like having that granular control over your queries and your tooling and the functions is really nice. And sometimes at the database, like, sometimes I do want to do transformations of the database layer. Sometimes I don't want to do transformations of the database layer. Sometimes I want to do it at the web app layer, which is a layer up from the database layer. Database layer is always the lowest layer in your web app, unless you're not... It is. Should we make a picture of it one day? Do we need a picture of that? Ooh, yeah, I think we do. But then, if database is the lowest layer, and then you have your server, where... you have a front end over here, which is the client, right? Front end client, server, database. With the middleware would go there, right? Because that's literally why it's called middleware. Middleware! So now we need to make a directory. Make a directory. Make a directory. What is a directory? It is where you store code. Make directory database. ex3. We're gonna call this custom tooling. And we'll have a main.go. Oh, I can't do that with a main.go. We would just need a custom tooling. And then we'll open a main.go. Just realized that this is off. There we go. Now it's not off. I am off. Because I am sitting not in the middle of my camera, but like on the side. There we go. That's better. Now you can see more of my screen. Database ex3. This is only 2. Dang it. I should have all of this over here again. This is usually... See, look. This is pretty much how I do everything. But I could just keep it in main. So now I have a connection, an interface, a client, and a setup database. I don't need any of this stuff because the database we have for this part will be pre-set up because that's what I'm doing. Must exec table query, no. So this we pull out essentially. So now we have a setup function. No. This would be our database client. I'm really good at exporting everything that when it doesn't necessarily need to be exported. I don't need it to be in its own package. I don't think that's necessary right now. Oh, yeah. And so what's the benefit here? It returns a client. But now I can take my... Oh, goodness, we don't. Client should be lowercase. DB client is declared but not used. Well, now we'd be able to do... No. Yeah. And the thing is, yeah, we did this. So now we've built it. But it doesn't make any sense until you see the tests. So tell me about it. Besides the fact I need to rename it from 3 to 2. They'll have test functions from last week, and I have the examples of those test functions right here. Nope. So these are the test functions right here, essentially. And these handler functions we have right here, they aren't run on against any objects or anything. They're pretty basic. They're defined in framework. But over here, this is the exact same. Essentially, I pulled everything from over here. So in here, we have all of these functions, and they're essentially, each one is a handler for an endpoint, and we access the database. It's pretty simple, straightforward stuff. You access the database from your endpoint handler. But when you're writing unit tests, it really sucks to have those database connections. So, no. So, because I am using an interface here, see, in the state I have a database connection. Because I'm using an interface here, it allows me to basically mock them all out. So I can have a pass type object and a fail type object. The pass type object replicates what a database would do if they're passing, and if the test is supposed to pass or if the test is supposed to fail. So these essentially, I expect 500 errors from all of them, an internal server error. So it totally makes sense. They can do it either way. I just have to do a good job in the slides explaining, showing the code to how to pass in an interface, which is essentially this code right here, and why I use the pointer for it. So yeah. I don't know how to explain that real well. Let's go ahead. I can go to the slides. I need to make notes of that though, because I don't lose it. Building database objects. Exercise. Questions. So this exercise here, what are database objects? Reference objects in server structs. Use, why was that a black one? Use interfaces for mocking database behavior. Use concrete functions. Well, how about we just do single function per query? I am a big fan of this. Create self-documenting code. Gives you control over your database operations. I do think maintaining control of the database is vital to the success of a web service. Databases, database connections, transactions, and collisions are, I just see them. When careful planning doesn't take place. Right? So I need to have code for this. And somehow I need to make this tell a story. I'm trying to lean back and my chair's going too far back. Mocks and unit test. Unit tests are for confirming contracts and business logic. Not for testing I/O operations. Database mocks allow you to check that database errors are handled correctly without having to stand up a database. In my people don't write tests if they require connection to a database. And then I know here in this section, not that. This one was supposed to be a live demo of running a Docker, or I could run it against the hosted database. That'd actually be a really good use case for Tailscale as well. Of running integration tests against Tailscale hosted. It's not hosted on Tailscale. Hosted database using Tailscale. Essentially, Tailscale would just have to be on the Raspberry Pi in the VM. So I just need to show this. I think it's just too much to do during the course, so we're just gonna go the example of it. Actually, instead of doing a live demo, let's do a recorded demo. And then I'll just, integration tests on a database, validate the schema. Yes. Anytime you build an interface with a database, you're building an API. I think that's what I wanted to say here. When I say it gives you control over your database API, granular control over database API. Because every time you build a connection to a database, you're building an API to that database. And I think that's what bugs me about SQL-C, is, like, if you look at this stuff right here, not here. Well, this is my SQL. It's just basic SQL, right? But if I go to database demo, database, and then user SQL. Oh no, I wanted the database DB. Well, this is fine too. Like, I'm building an API where delete user, get user, update user are all part of my API. But I'm not getting any benefit from that API. I'm just calling these exactly. So, whereas in the one I did, where I have a database setup, I feel like each one of these functions in the interface, which there's written an interface too, are a little bit better documented and provide a little bit better of an API. I guess it all comes down to documentation. This, to me, the only kind of documentation you have is the SQL query and the name. Maybe you can provide more documentation somehow, but that to me is the big downfall, is the API documentation around your database API. That's it. That's my only criticism of SQL-C. Other than that, I think it's fine. I think it's fantastic cool. Ads are going to start again in 1 minute and 30-ish seconds. Ads run every half hour. This cadence is only temporary. I am waiting to hear that people hate it. I am waiting, but more than that, if you join the community and sub / let me know on Discord. Then that was the other thing. Join Discord. If we can get 100 people on the server, I'll do ads less. Or I get 10 subscribers. I'll go to 1-hour ads. All we have to do is get 100 people on Discord or 10 subscribers. That's it. Anyway, what was I doing? Do we need to do... Oh, yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do that last test without just, like, taking the tests I've already written straight across. Because essentially that's what I would have to do. Is just take the tests I've written straight across. So it'll be... DevOps days. Austin. Anyway. I just love my beautifully code. And I'm really excited because in order to do the next part of this, which is the last part, the last day, I need to do monitoring stuff for the app. Yeah, I think I want to wait. I'm just gonna put right here in to do copy tests from CLI game, which is not really a CLI game, it's an API game. And edit the interface to be inside the test suite, which I've done before. The other thing you can do is you don't have to tie the interface to the database object. You can tie the interface to the server object, so you can put a layer up, which is what I will probably do to this, and have it be an unexported one. It gives you the same benefits of trying to, it allows you to replace your backend, which is the whole purpose of having an interface, is to provide parity and functionality for various backends if you wanted to do something that wasn't Postgres, because I'm only using Postgres. But yeah. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours. And honestly, I don't know what else to do with this. Because the only thing I want to do is get my Raspberry Pi and try and deploy this stuff onto GitHub. Add instructions and code for day 2. I don't need this. Day 2 of the workshop is databases plus web apps. The examples are how to do databases in Go. There is also the code for the Goose SQL C live demo, which I will probably also record. Yeah. Create pull request. I'll throw this on the Discord. Under code review. Does the CLI game have a pull request open? Oh yeah, but that one's not done. And I was working on it yesterday and it exploded, essentially. And then I decided, well, I am adding this one to play game. What I really need to do is, well, besides finish this, which we can finish right now. Besides finish this, what I really need to do is take a step back and work on my monitoring and middleware, because I don't need to have a fully functional game. I need to have endpoints you can call, and this will essentially be the last part. The play game will give you a question and all that, but like the point of this workshop is not for people to play the game, so I don't need to have a fully functional game. The game is just examples of principles we talk about in the workshop, and also ways for me to practice implementing this stuff before I tell people that it is the way, because it is the way. Essentially, that is what I'm saying, is that what I say is the way, and is the only way, and I'm sorry. So, yeah. But like, once I get play, which is essentially start game, and then turn, I don't really need anything else, so I can add those. And then what I need to do is I 100% need to work on the monitoring and the deploy, which means I need to get the Raspberry Pi set up, I need to get Tailscale on it, I need to deploy that, I need to set up the database for it. I need to get some dummy users set up that can just be in a SQL file that is attached to that Docker thing, so I can always just run it. And yeah. It's spam. I doubt you even know this person I follow. Somebody just messaged me and said, hey, join this blockchain because one random person you follow told me that they'll help me. Just like one random... What? One random person I follow? Like random person. Yeah. Or should we call it a day? So I can go raid another channel even though I only have 3 people watching, and it'll be just like super chill. Because that's pretty much what happened. Well, sounds like good. We'll just take off then. And call it a day. So with that, see y'all